All right, I am recording on this computer. We are at February 11th, so we're at our February Red Tent call. And Kel, it's me and you for now. I know that some people are going to be hopping on at different times.
Okay.
People had a lot going on today. So you want to dive in? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, so I haven't read your listened to your 5-minute box, but like you wrote back out of your head, feel the feelings, such good brainstorm. What are they struggling with and do they want the most? So I feel like I sent so many things to you yesterday that I want that business time now to go through and organize it so that it's all like on one sheet, on one poster, so that I can really, for me, that's how I visualize what's happening when. And so I feel like that's where I'm at. And then the Feel the Feelings Mastermind was what I was thinking I would call it. Is that?
Yeah, you can call it whatever you want. What do you want to call it?
I know, but like,
what resonates the very most with them?
So what I like about the Feel the Feelings Mastermind is that I think that the Generation Z is so quick to try and numb their feelings.
Yeah.
Either
do they want to feel their feelings? Will that resonate with? So I don't know if it'll resonate with them. Join the Feel of the Feelings Mastermind, and it's the last thing they want to do. I don't know if it's going to resonate.
Okay.
I don't know if they want to be a part of it.
So, but aren't I speaking to parents though? So then the parents might see it and think differently. Feel the feelings doesn't resonate.
Yes, but let me be devil's advocate.
Yeah.
2 days ago, you said, but I don't want to just create something that the parents are going to force the kids into.
Mm-hmm.
So if the parents are like, hey, sweet, I found this really cool mastermind for you. It's called Feel the Feelings. Is that going to make the kids feel like they're forcing them into it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I hear that. Okay.
I'm trying to come from all the different angles for you. There's no right or wrong. And I don't actually care, right? Like I care about you and I care about the program. I don't care because I'm not your client. I want you to stand in conviction with like, I'm calling it this because this is what it's meant to be called.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that's something that I just have to worry about figuring out at the end. Once I have everything kind of organized, it'll probably pop out to me better.
And quite honestly, Kel, you could just say a mastermind experience. Join the mastermind. This mastermind is intended for, like, you don't have to name it anything. I didn't name my mastermind until like a year and a half later. It was just the mastermind. So you can name it. Hey, Kim, you can name it whatever you want. I think keeping it simple, like I said, like mine was The Rising, right? The Rising Mastermind. And then the tagline was helping women rise into their greatest selves. That would have been a mouthful to name the actual mastermind. So it's cool to have what you had there with like this mastermind and then for the heart-centered Generation Z person.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I feel like that's where all of my energy is going, is just organizing what the 7 days or 5 days looks like. And
I responded, that's all. Okay. That's what my whole Vox is.
Okay, cool.
That's what that whole thing
is. That's awesome. I'm excited to listen to that. And then I'm just organizing. And so that all feels really exciting, and I'm nervous, but it's like the excited nervous, so I'm classifying that as the good kind, the kind that I like. And it feels really good. Like it feels really fast, but it feels like it's getting pretty solid, where I've literally spent the last 3 years trying to do it on my own and just kept like spinning, and it was all already there. It was just a matter of like
condensing it down. Like you're basically taking like the sap and boiling it down into maple syrup now. Like that's what we're doing.
Yeah. I love that.
It's awesome because literally like, and I love using analogies that are like so for the actual time of the year we're in, like this is what the kiddos are ready for. This is what you're ready for. So we've got all the big ideas and now it's just condensing it, and it feels fast because we're putting actual dates to things now, right? It's not like this program that will someday be, it's like, oh no, like she's here, it's happening. So does April 1st still feel like a good start date for you?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I could keep putting it off and finding reasons to keep postponing, but like we're doing it.
Yeah.
So I put them on I had the calendar, and I've had the calendar blank for the whole month and a half.
Yeah.
And then when we were on Vox and we identified it, I just blocked it in. I was like, it's done.
Good. So you've got the date of the start of the mastermind. Mm-hmm. You've got the 5-day challenge week. Mm-hmm. What I actually also would love for you to do, just to give yourself, like, because you're wanting massive amounts of structure with this, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would even say put like on the daily, if you want to, the subject of the post you're going to do, so that you're not caught up at 12:08 p.m. thinking, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to post about today? That is the worst.
Hey, Higgins, that's not for you. Sorry. Okay. Structure posts.
So, and guess what? You don't have to freak about that, because you already have it all in your notes.
Right.
From like the past 2 days of Voxing.
Yes, I do. I was like scrolling through my notes. I was like, oh my God, there's so much stuff.
Yeah. So it's so good because all of them can turn into stuff to share. And remember, social media is like pretty quick. Like, we're not writing a whole novel. Sometimes you want to get a little bit longer and be super engaging, but sometimes we want to make them quick. So I would say having a really good, especially over the next couple weeks when you're just starting to establish yourself. I was thinking about this last night because I was thinking about you. And we often think that social media is going to be the quick fix for us. Like, I have 200 people following me. Like, they're all seeing my stuff. No, they're not, because of algorithms. Maybe a small percentage are. Yeah. And think about this. If you posted signs all around the playground, right, where like people see you occasionally with the kids, would people purchase from you just based on the sign? Probably not. Sometimes maybe yes, but we buy things from people we trust. And especially we buy experiences from people we trust. So February gets to be trust creation. You get to like not just be at the park posting the signs, but you get to be like initiating conversations with other moms at the park. And that's a big part of it, because if you want, because we think like, okay, like you guys, like, and people look, and Kelly, you and I were talking about this, like, you know, I have 16,000 followers. I have gotten those followers so many different ways from so many different days of life for years and years and years and years. Some of them have participated in loops, which are super good and they're super helpful in terms of getting the algorithm up. Some of them have come through authentically. Like, it's, social media is a big game, and it's really fun if you are getting to know people and if you're engaging with people along the way. But it's not going to be the thing. Like, people aren't going to see your sign and be like, her, I want her. They need to know you. So, and you've heard me say too, it's about forming a relationship. It's about like really truly connecting with people. So I say February is like letting them in and letting them see Goofy, Kelly, and letting them know what trust your gut is, and dropping little things. So I would say in terms of social media posts, I would mix it up. Like, and Kim, if you have any thoughts on this, because you've been in the social media world too. Yeah. So let me know what your thoughts are. But Kelly's she's gonna mastermind that she's starting in April. She's gonna do a 5-day challenge a couple weeks before that in March. The 5-day challenge will be amazing in and of itself, kind of like my Thrive, right? Like Thrive was amazing in and of itself, and I told people the whole way along that it's leading into Dream Quest, and Dream Quest was freaking mind blowing, and it was awesome, and it was the paid program. A lot of people didn't join Dream Quest because they got stuff out of Thrive. But a lot of people did. You were like, okay, what, like, you on day one,
what's next?
Like, when are you going to tell me more about Dream Quest? I'm like, well, it's only day one, but we'll talk about it, right? So, because I was speaking to you. So, Kel.
One of the things I've noticed is that people will ghost you a lot, though.
Yes, totally.
Like, they're gonna sit back and they're gonna see, okay, are you consistent? Does she consistently post stuff that speaks to me?
Yeah.
does she acknowledge me when I'm there? I mean, for me, I loved being on calls with Jillian because she'd like say, hey, so and so, glad to see you're here. She was constantly interacting with us.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
So you constantly want to interact with them, even if they're just sitting back there like, okay, I'm just going to hang back here. Just keep putting those questions out, because they ghost you for a while and then they're like, hey, yeah.
People love being flies on the walls.
I know.
And then there's me. I'm like, hey, you, I see you. Let's get talking. So, Kelly, for now, what I would say with your social media posts, first and foremost, have fun. Like they've got to feel your fun. And dude, you're about to launch your first biggest program ever. You're about to call in people, connection, impact, money, all of the things. So let's have fun doing that. So with your post, what I would do, I would just sprinkle a little bit of everything in at the beginning. So get up a few posts of like the deeply feeling stories. People want to hear stories. What are the stories behind? And I even said to you in the Vox, like paint a picture. And so listen to the Vox, it's really good. Okay. But I would have a couple posts with stories, and then I'd have a couple workout posts, and then I'd have a couple like, hey, did you know, right? Like teaching them something. And just mix those up for the next couple weeks so that people are really always engaged with your content. Because if you're always coming out with like 12 paragraphs worth of stories, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, like it's a lot. If you're always coming up with like workout videos or like quick things, that people are going to be like, yeah, but where's the depth? So if we're kind of rotating them.
I think so. I've been on social media since True You Live, and I feel like I've spent the last 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, kind of trying to do that. Like first it was kind of figuring out what the hell is social, what is this really? And then I feel like I've through our previous conversations figured out potty break. figured out hold on 1 second, buddy, okay? Figured out what I want social media to be about. Yeah. And then I've been doing that. So some of them are like the longer ones, and then some are little funny blips and things like that. So I think I'm doing it, which is cool. So what I've noticed is my consistency as far as posting, and I feel like it's probably not enough, but I mean, if I wanted to do more, I could make time and I could figure it out. But like every third day kind of seems to be my consistency. I need to be like every day though. Like I'm every day now.
Yeah, you're every day now.
Okay.
And
so challenging.
It gets to be it is challenging, but it's only challenging because it's not something that you're used to, right? Yeah. So it's not going to be challenging for 2 seconds. Like I keep joking with people. I'm like, because I'm putting myself on maternity leave starting next Wednesday. And then I follow that up with like, oh, and of course, like I'm still gonna be posting on social media because that's just like not even a thing. It's not a thing, right? Like we're launching our podcast on Tuesday. Tuesday. And I'm gonna have a baby next week. Like, holy cow, right? But like, because posting on social media is just part of me showing up, authentically being me. And it's where it all starts with the impact that I make. So when you look at it that way, it doesn't become a chore. It just becomes like brushing your teeth.
Yeah. And I have noticed that it is getting easier with time. And I think I just have to accept that if I'm not feeling the creative, deep post, that's just not the day that it happens. And if it's 4 days until one happens, that's okay.
You can tell on the day, like on my posts, you can tell when I'm like, all right, because everything I put up there, it's intentional. And it's energetically meant to be there, but you can tell the days that I've got like 2 seconds and I want to get a post up, but I do not want to spend a lot of time doing it because they're short and they're quick, or they'll ask a question, or they'll be more inspiring as opposed to storytelling.
Okay.
So you're on it, sister. So right now, yes, we're talking a lot of strategy and we're talking a lot of logistics. But what we're doing is we're establishing trust. Yeah. And we're creating connection with people. so that in a month from now, when you're telling people to join your free challenge group, they're gonna want to. Because I can put a post about a group out there, but if people don't know who I am, they're not joining my group.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's it.
Okay. Sorry for the chaos.
No, literally story of my life.
Outside, go.
Story of my life.
My dog has a friend over.
A doggy play date.
The doggy play.
Doggy play date. Okay, cool. I see others are jumping on, so this is perfect timing. I'm gonna go check Babe, and I'm gonna come back and listen.
Perfect. Okay, good work.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Tiff.
Hey, Tiff.
All right, Kim.
Yes, ma'am.
Go, girl. What are we doing? What's happening today? Kim, tell me something that you're excited about.
Not there yet.
How are you feeling? Because I know yesterday was a little wonky.
Yeah, I think I got a better sleep.
Good.
Went to PT today, changing things up a bit. So we'll see. He taped up my feet again today to see how it would work on a work day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually pretty excited because I get to go to my nail class today.
Awesome.
And I have I have not seen my mentor in like over a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super excited to, go down there and get together and like show her the stuff that I've brought in and that I'm hoping that maybe we'll include in the spa. If not, I'll use it. It's experiments that I'm having or that I'm doing with some hard gels. So I'm pretty excited about that. Your conversation that you were having before, talking about having fun with social media posts, like I know you post like you're supposed to post every day. What types of things? How often should you post on each? I've seen things out there like with like you should post on Facebook during these times, you should post on Instagram at these times, blah 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 blah. But like how much I feel like almost that my downtime is consumed with social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be, a slave to social media.
No.
I want to get in, post, be gone, but I want to also be able to respond to other people who get on and respond to me in a timely fashion.
Yeah. So what's your purpose for posting? That's the first thing.
Sharing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would share like when I do a nail set or a design or something like that, that I would put it on there. And
is the purpose
I'll
to
post,
drum up more awareness around what you're doing, to drum up more clients, kind of a little bit of both? What's the purpose?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
So one of the things I would like to do, and I just haven't yet, is I guess I kind of want to put together like, did you know type things.
Mm-hmm.
Posts like, did you know
like
that it's not
about, like, that thing, like the compounding of the things and how it's like, you blew my mind. Remember it? I was like, really? That happens? Like, I think that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, why do your fingers, if you get a gel overlay, like a gel extension, why do your fingers feel like they're on fire?
Yeah.
Well, it's because there's an exothermic reaction that's happening in the gel that's caused by the catalyst, which is the LED light that is heating up your nail product, and the lamp that the person is using isn't necessarily designed to go with that particular nail product. And so they're kind of, what do you do to make sure you don't get that heat spike on your nail? It feels like it's 300 degrees.
Right.
And the tips of your nails are going to fall off because they're burning to a crisp. That it's not happening. It's only like a 10-second period, but it can be really painful. Yeah. And so I want to so that's the putting information out there, but then also drumming up customers. So I will put on like my Instagram that, okay, I have dates available on this time, but I know people all over the world,
Yeah.
I mean, somebody from Canada is like, who is somebody who's following me. She's like, oh, I wish I lived closer. And I'm like, well, where do you live? And she's like, Canada. I'm like, yeah, too far.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it's so good because you're eliciting engagement. So a couple things are coming up for me. You get to be a really good storyteller. Storytelling is the most essential part to any form of business. And like, think about it. Storytelling is essential to life. This is
Yeah.
how we, and this is going to really help Kelly when she gets back too.
Mhm.
This is how we pass information on from generation to generation, like storytelling. Have you read
Mhm.
the Stories That Stick by Kendra Hall?
No.
I would absolutely recommend reading it. She is brilliant. And actually, I would recommend following Kendra on Instagram because she is so fun and she's so engaging. Her grid posts always have a story in them, but they're quick.
Mhm. Mhm.
And her Instagram stories are super engaging. They just tell people what she's doing. And so
Yeah,
it's
and I
so
guess
cool.
I don't, so I understand, Instagram stories. It's like a short little clip type thing. But to me, it's like, okay, I don't know, maybe I just don't understand, you know, can you post to Instagram stories and then it gets carried over to your Instagram page, to your feed, or, do you post to one and I don't know.
No, well, not quite. So they're different. They all take place on Instagram. So Instagram, like the posts that go to your
Mhm.
grid are,
Mhm.
they're there. That's like
Mhm.
putting things into the vault. Like they're there all the time.
Yeah.
Instagram stories are only there for 24 hours. And so
Oh,
it's
okay.
literally like the cool place to show people what's timely, what's going on behind the scenes. Like Kel, I picture you utilizing Instagram stories to say, this is what I'm working on right now for the 5-day challenge that's coming up. And oh my gosh, you guys, like I just finished the best meditation creation for the mastermind that's coming up. Like, and you post that in your stories. So it gets to be little teasers. You just get, and people like to see, it's like reality TV. People like to see what's actually going on behind the scenes. That's why, like,
Mhm.
some days I come on and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we've got the podcast coming, we've got this coming up, we've got this coming up. And then there are other clips of me being a mom. And like
Mhm.
on Sunday, I recorded an Insta stories of me going like this after having done taxes for 3 hours, because then people know I'm a real person. And then like I go into the kitchen and find my kids sitting on the counter eating raisins, like sneaky, like behind the, so it's like just, it brings a level of realness to the really highlight real-ishness of the grid, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna send Tiff, because I think her video is having problems. I'm gonna send her
Yeah.
the call, because you can get on it with your phone too. So let me just do this with her really quick. Oops. So the other thing, hold on, let me just finish this thought.
She's back.
Oh, good. Hey, Tiff, you can dial in just with your phone if you need to. And I just put it in the comments, so if you need to do that. So you have that, because I know sometimes the video makes it kind of funky. Okay, so Kim, first of all, telling stories. And I'm not talking just Instagram stories, like telling actual stories about
Mhm.
you with the nails, about all of your, Kim, you could just make posts about your self-discovery journey over the
Mhm.
past 2 years.
Yeah.
And like always bring it back to, it brought me the nails. I really feel like this is the way that I can help people, I can support people. It's so fun to me. Tell stories about how the first time you ever tried essential oils and how they
Mhm.
helped you, and now you're going to incorporate them into the nail salon and stuff like that. Like just little stories are the things that really engage people.
Okay.
And then mix in the, hey, you guys, like I'm going to be at the salon on X, Y, and Z time, like come on in, these are the times that I have open. Totally cool to do that. But let's get back to your first question too, about how often.
Yeah.
So we're here to be intuitive light workers, right? Like we're here to like be guided by our hearts. Yes, there are algorithms. Yes, in terms of in terms of connection creation, if you like, you want to be on the tops of the hearts and minds of people. So it used to be you need to post to all social media platforms with different posts 3 to 5 times a day. Talk about
Hey,
crazy.
that's a full-time job.
Yeah, it was. I did it on top of a full-time job, and it was crazy. So now I think the general rule of thumb is post once a day. And if you put the same post on Instagram as you put on Facebook, it is A-okay, my friends. Like, let's be smart. Let's work smarter, not harder. But post once a day, because then you can really just let people know that you're always going to show up and you're going to be sharing things. And if your stuff is engaging, it teaches people, it inspires people, it tells a story, it makes people laugh, that's all good use of social media. I would say what I've been doing recently, yes, there are certain times of the day that you're going to have more traction. I know for certain that on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., if I make a post, it's going to be seen by more eyes. It just is. I don't know why. That's how my algorithm is set up. Like, so I just roll with it sometimes. Actually, is today Tuesday? Oh, I already put my post up for today.
Yep.
But so I just know that. If you wanted to get super, super detailed with like, oh my gosh, I want to make sure the most eyes are getting on this, you could look at all the analytics of all the things. I say, trust your intuition, post a meaningful post, and be done with it. And then, yes, go back and check on it so that you can engage with people. But don't kill yourselves over social media. So I would say 1 time a day. And then also what I've been doing is I've been making posts now during actual work time. I go through ebbs and flows where it could be like, you know, if I'm up early, I'll make a post right then and there. If it's later after the kids go to bed and like I'm just like in like done mode, but I'm like, oh, I could make a post right now, I'll do that. But if I give myself like a half hour of time where it's like, okay, I can bust out a post or 2 or 3 or whatever, I tend to give myself a chunk of time. And for the past couple of days, it's been literally, I walk in the door of my house. I haven't had a call first thing. So I walk in the door of my house, I sit on my couch or at my table and I type up a post. So I would just say feel into what feels good and just schedule it in. Just like you would schedule an appointment, just like you would schedule a shower for those of us that like actually have to have that on the schedule to get it done. But just make it a part of your day so that it doesn't become a thing. Because they can, it's just so silly, right? Like we let posting on social media like loom over our heads, and it's like, it's just a post. Now, it's an important step in terms of if you're utilizing it for business, people need to see you. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to use it for business, then you need to be scheduling it like you were running a business.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yeah, totally helpful.
And then Kim, I think like you could go so many different creative ways. I would encourage you to lean back. I mean, we talked, our whole last one-to-one call was like all about the creativity and like the magic that you have within you. Tap into that for what you want to put on social media, right? Like you could just put like, oh, here's Jillian's nails. Don't they look pretty? Or you could say, this mama who's about ready to have a baby decided to come in and pamper herself. And I was so honored to get to serve her today. Being able to connect with her in the chair meant the world to me. I'm so happy with how her nails came out, but I'm more excited about the conversation that we had.
Yeah.
Right?
Like I've been doing a lot of kids' nails. Like, I don't, so I have students who have been in my class who are now in 6th grade just down the hall from me. And one of them is like, oh, well, can you do my nails? I'm like, I need to have approval from your mother. Yeah. So have her email me. Yeah. And then I go into my spiel with the parent that, okay, I don't use sharp implements. I'm just pushing the cuticle back, teaching your child how, but it's like, okay, I'm teaching your child how to take care of their hands. Yeah. And why it's important that they don't do this or why it's important that they do this. And then, we have that one-on-one time and then they go off to class or they go home for the day, depending on when. I don't do it during school time. I do it, either before I'm on the clock or after I'm off the clock. Yeah. But, I just told my principal that today and she's like, wow, sounds cool. You ought to do a class where you teach all the girls.
Yeah. Like, and it's like, okay. you could do a whole slew of posts on like once a teacher always a teacher, but it gets to evolve. It doesn't have to look
Yeah.
like reading from a book. It gets to look like having the hands of these little girls in my hands and helping them learn how to take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like going in a little bit deeper, but what that does it helps bring people to those moments of like, oh my gosh, like I remember having my nails done for the very first time, or so like what we want to do with stories, even if
Mm-hmm.
we're launching something, even if we're like really promoting something, we want to invite people into feeling something and
Yeah.
having their own version of the memory so that they can really
Mm-hmm.
tap into it.
Okay.
And then it makes the time periods where you're like, hey, like flash sale, I'm going to be in the shop all day on Saturday. Locals, who wants these times? It just makes them fun because you've
Right.
drummed up so much excitement.
And those flash sale things could be on stories, right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have so much fun with stories if I were a nail technician. Oh my gosh.
Okay. It scares me for some reason. I don't know. I
It's
like
because you've never
feel
done
like
that's
this,
like
like.
also that's a running theme within our red tent right now that oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I'm really scared of this thing. It's and it's a running theme for me. Like I'm about to like push another kid out, you guys. Like, ah! Like it's scary because it's unknown and we haven't done it yet. So let's
Mhm.
remember that excitement and anxiety are like real close and there's a fine line between them.
Mhm.
And so when we allow ourselves to make that empowered choice of like, I'm going to just lean a little bit more into the excitement. My best friend gave me the best analogy the other day. She goes, it's like surfers. If you see surfers in the ocean, they're not
Mhm.
like doing the like, wah, when a wave comes, right? Like the I'm cold and I want to get out. They're leaning into it.
Mhm.
They're leaning in, they're doing like the duck dive into it.
Right.
And there's more buoyancy and it's just more natural for them. So it's not leaning into the hard, it's leaning
Mhm.
into the naturalness and
Okay.
letting it carry you.
All right.
That's
Okay.
that feels good, right?
Yeah. No,
Good.
it does. It
Good.
does.
All
Cool.
right, cool.
Thank you.
All right,
I'm gonna bounce off because I got to go eat my lunch before
perfect. Have a
children
good
get back.
lunch. Box me
Bye,
with
guys.
residual money stuff and all the goodness, okay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right. Tiffany, you're up, girlfriend.
This
Hey,
is
Brandon.
just me and you.
No, it's Kelly's here too.
Hi.
And Brandy's here, but I can't see her. So I'm thinking that she's sneaking us in class or so. Oh, she's in the car.
So fun.
Awesome. All right, Tiff, you've had a morning. How are you?
I'm good. I went to yoga this morning
Yep. How was that?
and therapy. Both good. I feel good right now.
Yeah, I can tell you're very zen right now.
Yeah, I feel pretty good.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
I mean, I think the thing that we sort of have started talking about is this idea of like just receiving and being open and sort of I've been thinking about how that applies in work. I've been like avoiding doing this one thing because I'm annoyed that I have to do it for the bishop and I'm just annoyed at him, like this is a long-standing thing. And I've just been like frustrated about it instead of like I had this realization this morning that I could instead think of like I need to set up some meetings for him.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to do it for him. But then I was thinking about the people that he's going to meet with and how when I've been with him in these meetings, that they've always been really like beautiful opportunities for them to connect like around their faith. And so I'm trying to keep the other person in mind.
Yeah. Good.
To try to get me through that.
Good.
But I think the relationship to like receiving that you mentioned though is like I just was focusing on like the part of it that I didn't want to do as opposed to like experience like remembering what I had gotten from those previous visits and what other people had gotten, like the receiving of that experience.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's really good. And what are you receiving out of this whole experience?
Like the work thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I am receiving a lot of like really lovely connections with people that I wouldn't otherwise have met. Um, I'm getting to see places that I wouldn't have otherwise seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, um, I mean, I think it's been a really good lesson in knowing like my own limits and not like limits that are being set on me, but limits I want to set myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so,
I'm going to keep going down that path for you. I think you're
okay.
receiving clarity that may not be super easy for you to receive, but it's still needed to come, and it's exciting that it is coming for you. And you could keep pretending like things are okay over here, but by you allowing yourself to actually witness what's going on and how you're feeling, that's a big component. And it's a big
Yeah.
component in the that like what we talked about this morning, like that plateau. It's like that I don't wanna right?
Mhm.
And just the clarity around that, like, oh, okay, I don't wanna, because like there's some stuff that's like outside of what I had always expected of myself, or how I've always performed for other people. And for me, it's allowing yourself to receive that it's okay that your reality is different than what you once wanted it to be.
Mhm.
Thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, in a way, it's actually returning back to, or like figuring out what version of the life that I thought I would live, I actually get to live, right? Because in a way, I actually think that I've sort of like how I'm living now is like strayed from my like true self, the things that I wanted for myself
Yeah.
at a
So
younger age.
did you get my box from earlier, the creator versus the reactor?
I did, yep.
I think, and I know that you were going into your appointment with that. So like sit with those thoughts, because I think they're really going to help what I'm feeling. First of all, your Vox was like, I said, like, this is just such deep wisdom, not in just what you were saying, but the vibration. Like, you were standing in yourself more this morning than I've felt you stand in yourself in a really long time. And that's that clarity, right? And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
what's been going on has been that like treading water, that plateau feeling of like, I know, but I don't want to know. I want to pretend like I don't know, right? And
Mhm.
so it's been reactionary. It's been kind of that Groundhog's Day feeling of
Yep.
like, oh, it's another one of these again. And we do that to ourselves
Mhm.
when we do that to ourselves when we're tired. So like, let's give ourselves grace. Like, we do that to ourselves when we're tired, because it's hard to do things differently when we're tired, because it's easier literally to just put it on repeat, right?
Right,
So
right,
that treading of the water is both making you exhausted, and it's keeping you in
yep,
that place of plateau and of like well, I'm not moving forward anyway, so I might as well just stay
right.
here. It's like that, it's that cycle. So
Mhm.
when you were talking, it was finally that like I felt you put your feet down, and it's like, oh, I don't need to tread this water. It's shallow enough here. I can just stand.
Mm.
Like you, I don't know if you felt that, but I could feel it from how you were feeling of like, I can just stand here. I don't have to work so hard to be where my feet are. And
Mhm.
I don't have to react to everything that's going on around me. I can now start to create. And I think that correlation that you made of like, gosh, like I've really strayed from what maybe a previous version of me kind of witnessed, is really good opportunity for you to say, okay, I have really been staring at what I don't want. I don't want to feel anxious. I don't want to deal with the bishop and all this stuff. I don't want, and like and like you said, and you're always so good at this, there's so many lovely things going on. And also, if the underlying is like mucky, it's like the bottom of like the yucky part of the pond. it's not going to feel good.
Right.
That's going to be the thing that you focus on. It's all beautiful above the surface. You can see the mountains, you can see the loons, but if your feet are touching muck, you're not focusing on what's pretty out here and what you can do. You're focusing on the muck.
Mm-hmm.
So you just realized, this is literally the energy that I felt from you today. You just realized like, oh, there's no muck here. It's just pretty sand. I can stand here. I don't have to tread, and I get to create now. I don't have to react anymore. Thoughts on all of that? Can you grasp that? Is it feeling like, oh yeah, like I kind of am there after a lot of treading?
Yeah, I think I just like it just feels like, so a couple things. One, I think it feels kind of tenuous,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like this new feeling of feeling like I can stand. And I think I just have to like get over myself and start moving in the direction that I know I want to move in, instead of being like just afraid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that sometimes that's where we trick ourselves. Oh, it was easier when I was treading. Right? That's where we can trick ourselves. Like, okay, I just learned how to stand. Like, oh shit, now I gotta walk. Like now I gotta
Right.
go create, right? Because we've put so much emphasis on the heaviness, right? When it was treading, it was heavy. So you assume because things were heavy, you got to drag the heavy forward with you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. That was the other part of
Right.
my message back. You get to actually choose to create out of lightness.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the tools to do that now because you've been through a lot. And you've done such deep work, but so often we associate doing the deep work with like, oh, this has to be so hard. Yeah, sometimes it feels kind of like mucky, but sometimes it's like, oh, sweet, cool. When I was going through my money stories, I remember I was sitting right here, and as I was writing it all out, and I'm figuring out like, oh my gosh, like masculine and feminine. I saw my mom do this and I saw my dad do this, and like the roles were actually reversed, and no wonder I am the way I am. Like I just, like I felt myself getting lighter and lighter and having more fun with it. It wasn't like, oh, dragging me through the trenches anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It was still deep work, but I was ready to create a new reality with my money stuff. And I was like,
Right.
I'm just going to have fun with this. Like, what actually happened? What did I actually see? It's not like I didn't come at it from like a woe is me standpoint. I came at it from like, can we just release this already? Like, let's just go.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where you are. You're used to like doing the whole, because there's been a lot of that, and it's okay, right? That's kind of like the beginning of the work. And now it's like, all right, we know how to do the work. And
Mm-hmm.
also, you're so brilliant and you're so driven and you're so talented. Whatever you create, Tiff, you are going to call people into in massive droves, however that looks. And you're going to feel more aligned in you than ever before.
Right. Yeah.
I just had a cool homework assignment for you pop up. If you're ready to create something new, right? Like if you're like in that place of like, I just got to get over myself and like, all right, I can stand. Like I got to start moving now.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for you to not look back at the heaviness, but like, what's the feeling you want to have as you create whatever life is going to bring for you? What's the feeling that you want to have? And go back through the timeline of your life where you felt those things. And we're going to draw some parallels between that younger version of you that I feel like there's a little forgiveness work to do around.
Mm-hmm.
But also there's some there's forgiveness of her for very high expectations, but then there's also forgiveness of yourself and like, oh yeah, like I can actually do, like she was spot on with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be interesting to go back at certain times of your life and see where you felt the feeling that you want to have going forward.
Yep.
Because then we can draw upon the wisdom that those versions of you were calling to you and say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she wanted me to do this. She wanted me to do this. We can kind of create from that space. That feels like a really
Yep.
good puzzle to put together.
Okay.
How does that feel?
Good.
I think that's kind of fun. And like I would take a notebook. I don't have one right next to me. I would take a notebook and I would draw a line
Okay.
and do like, okay, like, and just go through major events of life, right? And like
Mhm.
when I was 5, I wanted this. When I was 12, I wanted this. Like this is what was going on and this is what I wanted. We're not doing this to dig up the past and go through the muck. We're doing it to find the good feelings of empowered creation.
Yep.
All right, this is your empowered creation homework.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
Ooh, that's gonna be really fun. And like for everyone else, that actually feels like a really fun assignment for everybody. So like noodle with that. Good?
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Let's keep jamming on Vox because we're getting through some really, really, really good stuff. A lot of really like I see the little buds coming up, right? Like spring's almost here. The buds are coming up. So we get to start watering them and tending to them.
Yay.
Good. Okay. Thank you. You're amazing.
Thank
And
you.
wonderful.
Sorry for my in and out. I was having
No,
a
you're
weird
fine.
connection.
No, you're totally fine. Zoom brings out the best in all of us sometimes. Thank you. Thank you for coming though and hopping on. Brandy Parson. Are you there? Can you talk? Hey girl.
I am here. I can
You
talk.
in your Maine sweatshirt.
Oh, yes, I'm wearing my Maine shirt. I miss Maine.
I love it.
Yeah, my class starts in like 10 minutes. I just came here for the energy. Just
Great.
to listen.
Awesome. What are you excited about?
Um,
Polylelograms?
yesterday, I actually I actually created my schedule and stuck to it yesterday, and it felt really good.
Yay.
And I got a lot accomplished. But whenever I sat down like to write, it was like roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
Because all my inspiration like happens at night. That's where I get my really good ideas.
Yeah.
So I think I may need to adjust my writing time. But what I'm excited to write about at night is not necessarily what I want to write about the next day.
Yeah, totally.
So I may get the idea that night and write it down, but I don't want to write about it the next day. I lost the inspiration. I lost my mojo.
Yeah.
Kelly's
like,
it's like, just put content out, Brandy. Just put content out.
Okay, so here is, I have a lot of friends who are authors and they're birthing books right now. And what I have learned from them is write when you're inspired, right? Even if it doesn't quite make sense. And also, if writing when you're inspired is really not conducive of that time, like it's, you know, like you're trying to have like a really nice conversation with your husband who you haven't seen in a week, like what's more important is sitting down and writing or is like talking? You get to decide and there's no wrong answer to that. So you get to be discerning of the inspiration because your inspiration's always going to come back. It might not be about that exact same topic, but it's always going to come back.
I know that it's like, because I'm so good at fooling myself.
Yeah. Yes.
And so
yes,
I also know that it's like time to get this shit out, Brandy.
Yeah. Well, that's the other part of it.
Yeah. So
But remember,
but I got the schedule down, and so that was a huge roadblock for me. Tomorrow the website's getting done.
Awesome.
So
tomorrow's the day you're sitting down with Lauren and doing all that stuff. Good.
Yeah. I'm super excited. Yeah, we have a 4-hour chunk of time blocked off for that. So we'll see how far we get.
So you know what I just saw in my head? Okay, because this is what you're doing. You've got the schedule down. You've got the things on the schedule. The things are actually happening, like they're coming to fruition. And so the countdown for you is like doomsday is on its way.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Kind of like what we talked about in your last one-to-one call. Like you're like, oh gosh, I can't, like I'm knocking stuff off the to-do list. Like that's one less thing I'm able to hide behind now, right? So you're looking at it from that energy. I want you to have a countdown, like a celebration countdown. The day all this stuff is done that you can actually launch your first blog post, I want you to go out and buy yourself balloons.
Okay.
Okay? I want you to go and buy yourself balloons. And they can be purple and silver and beautiful, and you can fill your office with balloons, but you are celebrating that day that you get your first blog post out.
Yes, that's a
Okay?
good idea. I like that.
Like, we're talking like surprise party of the century style. We're not talking about like, countdown to the electric chair, because that's the two different energies that you've got going on right now.
I know. And it's like, I'm excited to get content out. I'm excited to start writing again, but it's scary.
It's scary because you've been practicing not doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And same thing with Tiff. Like, Brandy, you went through a real rough 2019. Like, there's been heaviness. And so when we're used to heaviness, and you guys, my story, the beginning of 2019, like, oh my gosh, like the day, thank God I found out I was pregnant, and I got engaged to a business partner, because like I didn't want to move a single inch last July. But literally it was that point of like, oh, life's changing. We gotta ride the roller coaster now, right? So I want you guys to know and stand empowered that you don't need these life-changing events. Like, you get to make the decision from you, because I actually think it's more powerful when you like stand in that decision and say, I'm doing it. And also, we all have those life events that pop up, and they're always going to be the catalyst. So, Brandy, it's scary because you've been practicing dragging your soul through the dirt and having these dreams, but it really not being the right time. So that's been the practice. Now we're buying balloons so we can celebrate all the hard work being done. And now, we get to grow out of celebration and out of fun and actually putting out there what you want to, creating versus reacting.
Yes.
What color are your balloons going to be?
Oh my God, they're going to be purple.
Obviously. I want to see every single shade of purple.
Like my hair. Yeah. I like that. That's good.
Okay, so the website's getting done tomorrow. Then what else needs to be done?
I need to start like getting my About Me page written, my landing page written, get really fine-tuned on like what my message is. And then I know on our next call, we're going to talk more about like the containers, because I don't know what to do with that either.
Yeah.
So
that's where Kelly is right now. So you guys are in very similar boats, which is cool. So,
hey,
cool, fun. It's so like, I just love the synchronicity. Like, we're all birthing something, you guys. We literally are. And think about it, right? Like, gosh, like labor, like it's rough sometimes, right? But like, we're all birthing something, whether it's the newest version of you, whether it's a program, whether it's a website, whether it's an actual human. And so with that, we lean into the surges, we lean into the contractions, not because we want to lean into the hard, but because we want to lean into the natural. It's such a good metaphor.
Yes.
So when you're feeling like tight, eek, this is not comfortable, remember, each contraction passes. And if y'all could like send me messages reminding me of this next week, that would be great. Each contraction passes, and you get closer and closer to the baby actually getting here with each one.
Yes.
Right? So can we celebrate? Can we have fun along the way? And and when I say lean in, like lean into me, right? Lean into the group, lean into your journal, lean into a really good cup of coffee and just take your mind off everything. I think that's a really good, just that lean in, like that's a really good mantra for the whole group right now. You're not going to topple over, and you're not going to go backwards. Contractions keep moving you forward. They don't move you backwards, right? We can stand firm on our feet, and we can go. We can flow. We can create versus react. And it's so much more exciting when we choose to do that for ourselves because we're finally ready. Oh, I'm just gonna, hold on. I'm gonna keep the baby thing going for like one more second. I'll be 38 weeks pregnant tomorrow, right? So as much as like different times during pregnancy, you just wish like the baby would just come. Like at 20 weeks, I was like, are you kidding me that I'm only halfway there? Like what in the actual? But I wasn't ready for him to be there then, right? So during all of the gestation time period, there are times where we're like, oh, can I just get to the end? But it's not ready to birth yet. But where you all are now, you are at a time period where you're ready to birth something. And guess what? We're going to keep growing and creating and gestating with different things over the course of our lives. But we're all ready to birth this newest version of us now. We weren't ready to birth her 6 months ago. We had to go through stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Okay. That's good. I got to go to my ceramics class.
Yeah. Oh, good. You have ceramics, not math. Good.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah,
you're probably disappointed. Brittany loves math. I'm over here like, oh, you're amazing.
All right.
All
Love
right.
you.
Love you. Bye. All right, ladies. Really, really good call. And just to like give you guys the heads up, to invite you into like this highest vision. I think I told you guys, and I have to keep an eye on my phone. I have a call coming in a couple minutes, but I have never gone into labor naturally. And I'm over here like, oh, that would be fun to go into labor naturally. Like, we'll see. Like, it's never happened before because both of my kids were 10 days late induced. And so I'm like, can we just not do that again? So I put in my order with the universe next Friday, the 21st. Wake up, water breaks, go to the hospital, have a baby. Like that's like what I've put out there, but I'm not attached to it. It's okay if it doesn't happen. It just feels fun. It feels whimsical. It gives me something to look forward to. And then my doctor is wonderful. And I was like, and if the universe decides that that's not the time, for the love of God, because my human knows what works, can we please induce me that weekend? And so I do have an induction time planned for not this weekend, but the following weekend. So we'll see. I'm just like airy fairy. And it's so like, I just think back to my last pregnancy and how controlling and how grippy I was. So this has been a huge, and I'll share more because there's so many deeper lessons that I've learned and I'm sure we'll learn over the next 2 weeks. But I'm having fun with it. I've put it out there. I've set my intention and I've provided myself more support to ensure like that I'm not pregnant for a year this time as opposed to the last couple of times. So just holding that in the highest vision and sharing with you guys, and I'll obviously keep you posted. All right.
Yay.
All right, my loves. I love you. Have an amazing day. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.